Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, and welcome back to Episode Rundown, where I, Shady Doorags, run down the episodes of Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug, and Cat Noir. Woo! Intellectuals, it has been a hot minute since I've done one of these. I actually haven't done one of these since, it's been like a year and a half since before I hit 100K subscribers. A lot of you probably clicked on this video curious, you don't know what it is. Basically, what I do is I watch an episode of the show Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir, and then I review it. I just talk about it. It's very simple. There's no fancy, complicated editing, and I just let you know my thoughts. This has been the longest series on my channel. It has also been the least consistent series on my channel. Regarding that, I actually have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is this is going to be the last Miraculous on this channel, the last episode rundown on this channel. I simply can't abide keep continuing to put Miraculous content on the channel. Those of you new, you don't really know this, but those of you who've been waiting for this, you know that I'm constantly hesitant to put episode rundowns on the channel because they're not healthy for the channel. There's a long story behind that, but I've talked about it a lot of times in the other episode rundowns. The good news is, however, I will be moving this series to my second channel, Shady Doorags. There should be a link up there. There should be a link in the description. There should also be a link at the end of the video. I will be continuing the series on there. In fact, there should be another episode right now on the second channel of episode rundown, just to make up for so much lost time because it's been so long since I've done one of these. Unless I got hit by a copyright strike or something, there's another episode rundown episode on the second channel. So yeah, from now on, we'll be continuing this series on there. And the good thing about that is a channel where I don't really particularly care about the numbers, the views, or anything like that. So we should be able to get these done at a quicker pace. I'm hesitant to say that because I have said that in the past many times, and then something always gets in the way of me doing these episode rundowns. But at the very least, I don't think we're going to go another year and a half with that one. Anyway, we are looking at Season 3, Episode 12? Episode 12, I believe. Chrismaster. Normally what I do is I watch the episode once, and then I try to talk about it, see what sticks in my mind. This episode, I have seen so many times because I tried again and again to find a good place to put in an episode rundown, but I just couldn't find the right place. So we're finally doing it now, Chrismaster. So the episode starts with Marinette babysitting Nino's brother, whom I don't think we've ever seen up until this point. So that was kind of a punch in the face for me because I don't like when new characters are reintroduced. Pardon me, it's been a while, so I can't necessarily remember all the things I've said in the past. I know that's one I've said. I don't like when new characters are introduced because I know they're the ones who are going to be the Akuma, and I don't want that. Also, quick side note, I got all these lights on. It's very hot in here. I will probably start sweating, so if you notice it, just don't tell anyone. But the episode starts with Marinette babysitting Nino's little brother. So you obviously know, new character, he's more than likely going to be the Akuma. Marinette is trying to get him to behave, but he doesn't want to do the things that he's supposed to do because she's asking him to do things that are for little kids. He wants to be treated like an adult. Well, not really an adult, just a big kid. Typical stuff. He's saying, I want to play this video game. She's like, no, that game isn't age appropriate for you. You got to do this. And he's like, stop treating me like a baby.
Why don't we watch a cartoon instead? I have patati and potato if you want. That show's for babies.
So he eventually finds Marinette's trunk full of gifts, which is for Adrian's upcoming birthdays. Up until his 30th birthday, he finds that Marinette doesn't want to tell him because she's embarrassed, because she thinks he'll tell Nino and Nino will tell Adrian, even though Nino already knows Marinette likes Adrian because Alia told him. Maybe Marinette. I remember Alia said, no, I didn't tell him, but then Nino showed that she clearly told him. Maybe they're trying to say that Marinette believes that Nino doesn't know. I feel like there's been other moments where Nino has shown that he knows Marinette likes Adrian. Or maybe it's just not so much the liking, maybe it's just the fact that he got her gifts. Yeah, because she does say her getting him gifts is creepy.
Because you tell your brother Nino, and he'd tell Adrian, and Adrian would think that I'm totally crazy.
So that's probably it. So she makes up a lie. Marinette lies yet again that she's Santa's elf, one of Santa's elves, and she has her responsibility is, helping with gifts and such. And the kid doesn't believe it at first, so she keeps making up more and more lies. And he says, "Oh, well, I want my Christmas present early. It should be in there. It's this." I forget what he says, like Destructitron or something like that. Basically a big robot. And she says, "Nope, the only person, nobody's allowed to get their toy early." And for some reason, she tells him that there's only one exception, which is, oh, I know why she told him. She says there's only one exception, and that is for the nicest, the person on the top of the nice list, the nicest kid in the world.
Santa gives them at Christmas, not at Easter or Halloween. Otherwise, you might as well have a bunny or a witch delivering your present. Santa is allowed to make one exception, but only for the best behaved kid in the whole world.
And he asks, who is that? And she just says, Ladybug, like she's just saying something. And the kid gets sad and she says, well, it could be you if you were, nicer, if you were to play with your toys and be quiet. And she almost gets him to do that. And then Nina and Alia walk in. The little kid gets upset. He grabs Nino. Nino's like, okay, let's go. Marinette, for some reason, denies that she had anything to do with the kid getting upset.
I want it to be Christmas right now! I have absolutely no idea where that came from.
The kid gets upset because he wants his gift, and he was about to try and be good, but Nino denied him of that opportunity. Tiki comes and says, Marinette, that was dumb. That's basically what she says. And we all know how I feel about Marinette lying. It's kind of par for course at this point. But anyway, Marinette's like, yeah, I know we're going to make another gift for Adrian. And at first I thought, where's Marinette getting all this money for this gifts? And I was planning on making a joke about how her parents are filthy stinking rich. But then we see she's making the gifts, which I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. She is a fashion designer. I completely forgot about that. It's been a hot minute since I've seen, well, actually I have seen a couple episodes on and off here and there because my niece watches this show. But the time passes and Marinette wakes up and it's snowing and there are flying animals in the sky. I forget what they were. I want to say manatees, but I'm not sure. Breathing fire. And she goes back. She's like, oh, I must be dreaming. And then Tiki's like, no, this is real. So she's like, okay, well, gotta Ladybug up. And she spots on and calls. She hears these toys. They're saying they're looking for Santa Claus.
It's over, Santa Claus. You're surrounded. Surrender and don't put up a fight.
And she calls Cat Noir. Cat Noir is already in form, and he's got Santa Claus with him. So Cat Noir had a little start to the adventure before we got to jump in. That's interesting. They broke two traditions today. They gave the Akuma happened off screen, which that's not the first time that's happened, but it's still like a tradition to show the kid getting akumatized. They broke that tradition, and Cat Noir is starting the adventure by himself. Like, he goes and rescues Santa by himself. We start with Marinette's perspective, where she's just waking up and all this has happened. So Ladybug goes to meet Cat Noir, and Santa Claus is there. And Santa says he has no idea how he got there. He was in the North Pole working on toys, and suddenly he was in his sleigh and in the sky over Paris. The toys come in, they find him because there's this dog who can sniff out Santa, and they're like, hey, we need you to get Chris Master his toy early. And Marinette, or Ladybug, figures out through context clues that Chris Master is Nino's younger brother, who I guess name is Chris. Just putting that together.
I give them at Christmas, not at Easter or Halloween. Otherwise,
you might as well have a bunny or a witch delivering your presents.
Now, because she knows this, she's like, oh, he's going by all the lies I told him, so I can use that logic to get to him. So there's a fight where they're on skates, and there's a lot of really childish moments in this episode. And it's one of those episodes where I have to remind myself, yes, this is for kids. This is not for me. All the silliness is for the kids to enjoy. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it kind of takes me out of the experience because I can't take it as serious as I want to. Marinette is like, I know who it is, but I need to check first. And instead of just telling Cat Noir, she puts Santa's hat on Cat Noir's head and says, "Go be a distraction." I'm like, okay, yeah, but you could have told him right quick before he left so he would know what's going on. But it was a good plan because they have a dog that can sniff out Santa. Cat Noir pretends to be Santa and runs away from the toys, lets the toys chase him. Ladybug checks to see if Chris is missing. He is. She does her lucky charm, which ticks me off because I remember specifically in the episode where they swap Miraculous, she was like, you can't just do the lucky charm and hope something good happens. You have to know your enemy so you can figure out how to use it. And I'm like, she hasn't even seen Chris Master. I guess she knew who he was, but she hadn't even seen him and she did her lucky charm. I was like, I've seen it before. This is not the first time this has happened, where I made this complaint when I first saw that episode. Ladybug does not need to understand the situation completely to do the lucky charm. They made that rule up on the spot. But she does the lucky charm, and it's a letter, and she writes a letter to Santa saying, hey, I want the toy that Chris Master got. And the episode kind of plays into Ladybug actually being the nicest kid on the planet. And I'm like, Marinette made that up herself. Like, you can't really, she's like patting her, the episode's like patting her on the back for making this rule up for herself. It's like, oh, you want the same toy he got? Well, you really are the nicest kid on the planet, because this is the only gift you'll get all year.
You know that this is the only gift you'll get this whole year from me.
Yes, I know, but I'm doing it to save Paris and Nino's little brother.
Ah, you really do deserve to be at the top of my list.
I'm like, it's a gift, guys. It's not that serious. Oh, man. And plus, like, she might be Ladybug. That might be the only gift Ladybug's going to get. But what about Marinette Dupeng Chang? Like, she's still going to get her gift, which we don't even know if this Santa's actually real. She gets the gift from Santa. She doesn't turn back into Marinette, feed Tiki, and then turn to Ladybug. No, that would just make sense. She, still as Ladybug, calls out and says, hey, I got your gift. Helicopter comes, takes the gift from her, and that leads her to Chris Master. Chris Master gets his gift. He looks like a little elf, a little evil elf. And oh, guess what happened with Cat Noir? The agile one, whom these toys, they were like, you see how these toys move? There's no way they'd be able to catch Cat Noir. Well, they somehow caught Cat Noir. Like, he's completely captured, and he's about to get his Miraculous taken off when Ladybug saves him. Chris Master's power is he can take his toys, shove it into the crystal ball, because that's what Marinette showed him when she was talking about Christmas. He shoves them into the crystal ball, and they become life-size. He does a Ladybug and Cat Noir, and a Ladybug and Cat Noir clone come in. The Ladybug clone does a lucky charm, and it just gives her a random weapon. Cat Noir does his cataclysm. The Cat Noir toy does his cataclysm. Cat Noir says, hey, I can use my cataclysm to destroy them. And she's like,
If that's our only choice, but we need to save it to smash the snow globe.
why? They've destroyed akumatized items without cataclysm before. Like, why is she so determined to use cataclysm? Santa comes in, takes care of the toys, the toy versions of themselves. So what Chris Master does is he shoves his actual gift that he got into the crystal ball, making it giant size. And I like that he said earlier it's the biggest box. It should be the biggest box in the trunk.
That means you can give me my Christmas present early. Grobotech Ultimate Distractor. It's easy. It's gotta be the biggest one in the box.
Showing that it's a very big toy. So when he makes it life size, it becomes gigantic rather than just person size. Because he said earlier, it's a big toy. Cat Noir once again says, hey, I can use my cataclysm to destroy it, which isn't a bad plan because it's the only defense between them and Chris Master. And Ladybug's like, prepare it, but don't use it. So they threaten to destroy his toy unless he gives them the crystal ball. And he complies, and Cat Noir uses his cataclysm to destroy the crystal ball. everything goes safe. Santa does pound it, and they say Santa was part of the Akuma. So they're hinting that Santa could be real, but also hinting that he's not. Pretty much he's not, because he made up that rule, or Marinette made up that rule about Ladybug, and he had to follow that rule. So definitely he's not a real entity in this world, even though everybody was acting like he was. Again, kid show. So then we go back to Marinette babysitting Chris again. She's going to babysit him again. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I lied. And they're kind of hinting that she helped cause that situation because she lied. Now, Marinette shouldn't be lying because it's supposed to be within her character that she doesn't like lying. But she didn't cause that. That kid was upset either way. He was going to get akumatized just because he couldn't be treated like a big kid. And the episode ends with her being like, I actually made these gifts for this guy I like. And the boy doesn't want to hear it because it's gushy stuff.
Oh, I am so in love. I dream about holding his hand and looking at the stars together.
It's actually kind of funny how she was teasing him with the her having a crush on somebody and and making fun of him with it. So that's the episode. All in all, episode, like, it was very kiddie, very childish. I'd probably like it a lot less just because I had to watch it so many times. And between when I did the last episode rundown and this episode, between then, my niece has gotten into the kick of watching magical girl shows. And so I've seen some of them. And the only magical girl show I watched before Miraculous was Sailor Moon. So that's why I always compare it to Sailor Moon. It's kind of interesting, the similarities I'm seeing of Miraculous to other magical girl shows. Like, I've seen, what's it called? Glitter Force and Teeny Peen or something like that. And I was like, wow, this reminds me a lot of Miraculous. But obviously that's because all of them are taking inspiration from Sailor Moon. But seeing that, and like seeing how a little kid reacts to those shows, because like I said, my niece watches all of those shows. It's interesting to, like, I'm seeing more of the kid elements, and I'm kind of seeing how they impact the show and why they might go that route. I'm seeing more and more of that now. So I've had a bit of character development off screen. But yeah, so that episode happened. Glad I'm finally getting to talk about it, because good gravy, that has been on my to-do list for a hot minute now. So I will see you guys in the next one, and hopefully you'll go and check out the second channel, because like I said, there's another Miraculous episode rundown waiting for you right now. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.